Welcome to the deep dive. You know, ever wonder why some brands just feel right, instantly familiar, maybe even trustworthy?
Yeah, it's like they've got their act together.
Exactly. And that's what we're digging into today. Our deep dive is called Why Brand Consistency Drives Trust and Sales.
Hmm.
We're exploring how that unified front, visually, verbally, it's not just about looking good. It directly impacts how much people trust you and, well, whether they buy from you.
And the data backs that up, doesn't it?
It really does. Get this. Being consistent can boost brand recognition by up to 80%. That's huge.
Yeah.
And it really sways purchase decisions.
Huge. And you know that feeling right thing, there's actually some psychology there. Consistency signals predictability. Our brains like patterns. They feel safe.
Ah, okay. So inconsistency feels risky.
Sort of, yeah. If a brand's website feels totally different from their social media, it's like, what's going on here? It can be a subtle red flag for people. Predictability builds trust.
That makes a lot of sense. Like meeting someone who changes their story all the time, you just wouldn't trust them. So, okay, how do we build this consistency? Let's start with the visuals. Color seems like a big one.
Oh, absolutely. Your color palette isn't just pretty. It's like nonverbal communication. It sets the mood, tells a story about your brand's personality.
So like blue for trust, green for growth, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Those associations are powerful. Think banks and tech using blue, or maybe health brands using green. But it's not just the psychology. You need a defined set of primary, secondary colors that work together.
And people need to actually be able to read things, right? Accessibility.
Crucially, yeah. Accessibility is key. We're talking WCAG compliance, that 4.5.1 contrast ratio for text. It's not just a technicality. It means everyone can actually engage with your brand. It's about being inclusive.
Right, right. Both the feeling and the function. Okay, colors sorted. What about the logo? That's usually the main visual people think of.
hmm But it's not just one static thing anymore, is it?
No, definitely not.
Your logo needs to be adaptable, like a chameleon. You need the full word mark, maybe for your website header, but for a tiny social media icon, you need something simpler, more graphic.
Makes sense.
And you absolutely have to have versions that work on light backgrounds and dark backgrounds. Otherwise, it could just disappear or look terrible. That adaptability, that attention to detail, it shows you care and reinforces the brand everywhere.
Okay, got it. Adaptable logos. Then there's typography, the fonts you use. How does that fit in?
Typography systems are super important for consistency and hierarchy. You typically want, say, 2 or 3 font families max.
Not too many.
No. Maybe one with a bit more personality for headlines, something eye-catching, and then another that's really clear and readable for body text. The key is defining specific sizes and weights, like this size for main headlines, this weight for subheads. It creates order.
A clear visual structure
Yeah.
and imagery, photos, illustrations.
Yeah, you need a consistent feel. A mood board is a great tool here. Are your visuals bright, airy, and casual? Or maybe dark, moody, sophisticated? Sticking to a defined style makes everything feel cohesive.
So all the visual pieces connect. What about icons?
Icons, too. A unified set of symbols that visually represent key concepts or features. They should match your overall style, like if your brand is modern and clean, your icons should be too, not suddenly ornate and old-fashioned.
Right, keep it all in the same family. And finally, layout. How things are arranged on the page or screen.
Layout principles tie it all together. Consistent use of white space, maybe a grid system. It creates that sense of organization and professionalism across all your materials, from your website to your brochures.
Okay, that covers the visual foundation pretty well. Very thorough. Now let's switch to the other side of the coin. The words. The verbal identity. How do we make that consistent?
Ah, the brand voice.
Yeah.
Just as vital as the look. It really flows from your core values,
Yeah.
those 3 to 5 fundamental beliefs driving your business.
So you don't just make up a voice.
Ideally not. You translate those values into actual voice characteristics. For example, if a core value is expertise, your voice might aim to be authoritative, knowledgeable. But, and this is important, authoritative without being condescending or, unapproachable.
Finding that balance. Authoritative, but maybe still human.
Exactly. That's often the sweet spot. And to make it practical, you can use something like a voice pillars matrix.
Okay, what's that?
It basically helps you turn those abstract values into concrete writing principles. So if transparency is a value, a principle might be simplify complex topics, avoid jargon. It gives writers clear guidelines.
Gotcha. Makes it less subjective.
Precisely. And you can also develop a situational tone chart. This shows how the core voice adapts slightly, like a sales email might be persuasive, an error message direct and helpful, a blog post may be more conversational. The tone shifts, but the underlying voice, the core personality, stays the same.
So the brand still sounds like itself, even in different situations. That makes sense. And documenting things like preferred words.
Oh yeah, a word and phrase bank is super helpful. Listing words you like, words you want to avoid, even standard grammar and punctuation rules. It all adds up to consistency.
Little details matter.
They really do. And
Mhm.
creating sample paragraphs showing the voice in action like, here's how we sound on social, here's an example email that gives people concrete examples to follow.
Okay, this all sounds really solid in theory, visuals nailed down, voice defined. But how do you actually make this happen across a whole organization, especially a bigger one? That feels like the hard part.
Implementation.
Yeah.
That's where the rubber meets the road, as they say.
Yeah,
A fundamental piece is having a central asset repository.
like a library.
Exactly. A single, easy-to-find online place with everything. Approved logos, color codes, fonts, image guidelines, voice documents, templates, the works. It needs to be the single source of truth for the brand. No hunting around old email attachments.
Yeah, I can see how that prevents chaos. But who makes sure people actually use this library and follow the rules?
Good question. That's where you need a brand steward. Or maybe a small team. Their job is basically to own the brand guidelines, maintain them, and champion them internally. They're the guardians.
The brand police.
Haha. Hopefully more like helpful guides. But yes, they ensure things stay on track. And providing really clear application examples is key too. Show people exactly how the logo should look on a web page, or how the voice sounds in a customer service reply. Examples make it real.
See it in action. Makes sense. What about new stuff? New marketing campaigns, new website sections? How do you keep those consistent?
That requires a clear brand governance process, a defined workflow for how new designs or messages get reviewed and approved before they go live. Maybe the brand steward has to sign off, or a specific team.
So checks and balances.
Right. And you need a way to handle exceptions, too, because sometimes, rarely, there might be a reason to deviate slightly, but that needs careful consideration so it doesn't dilute the brand over time.
Okay. And you mentioned templates earlier.
Yes. Branded templates are incredibly efficient. Presentations, social posts, emails, pre-designed templates with the right logos, colors, fonts baked in. They save time and ensure consistency almost automatically.
Smart. Takes the guesswork out. So you've got all this in place. How do you know if it's actually working? How do you measure consistency?
Measurement. Very important. You need to define your metrics. Are you tracking brand mentions and sentiment online, running surveys to see if people recognize your brand more easily? You could even do internal audits, just checking your own website, social media, print materials periodically.
Like a spot check.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe quarterly, review all your touch points, where are things looking good, where are inconsistencies creeping in, it keeps you honest.
So it's definitely not a set it and forget it kind of deal.
Not at all. Brands need ongoing care and attention. And the market changes, right? So your brand might need to evolve too.
How do you manage that without losing the consistency you've built?
Well, first, use a versioning system for your guidelines. Every time you update them, maybe tweak a color, refine the voice, give it a new version number, date it, and communicate the changes clearly so everyone knows they're using the latest version.
Good point. Keeps everyone synced up.
And just like those consistency audits, schedule regular, maybe quarterly reviews of the entire identity. Does the visual style still feel relevant? Does the voice still connect with your audience? Is it still effective in the current market?
A strategic checkup.
And consider setting aside a small part of your budget, maybe 10–15% for experimentation. Controlled tests of new ways to express the brand, maybe trying a slight visual twist or a new messaging angle, but always staying true to the core promise. It keeps things fresh.
Allows for evolution without revolution. I like that. Okay, let's bring this all home. Why should businesses listening right now really double down on this whole brand consistency thing? What's the big payoff?
It really boils down to, I think, 3 key things. First, like we said at the start, much higher brand recognition. People remember you. Second, it builds serious trust and credibility. Consistency signals reliability, professionalism. People feel safer choosing you.
Makes sense. And the third?
And third, ultimately, it impacts the bottom line. It drives sales. People are simply more likely to buy from and stay loyal to a brand they recognize, understand, and crucially trust. It's a direct link.
Recognition, trust, sales. Powerful combination. So the takeaway is really about building this seamless, reliable experience everywhere someone interacts with your brand. It's systematic.
Absolutely. It requires a conscious, systematic effort across the board.
So think about those brands you really admire. How consistent are they? What can you maybe borrow from their approach? And for you listening, what's maybe just one area of your own brand you could focus on making more consistent starting right now? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.